morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. A House Republican-led panel has called for a federal criminal investigation into former Representative Liz Cheney, alleging she engaged in criminal witness tampering during her tenure as vice chair of the House Selection Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot. The panel claims Cheney secretly communicated with key witnesses, Cassidy Hutchinson, via the encrypted Signal app without Hutchinson's attorney knowledge, potentially violating federal law. And this is what I was stating, that Liz Cheney, she really needs to go ahead and get that preemptive pardon from Joe Biden, because these things may come into fruition and she may end herself with litigation and go on court after court battles. Do I believe that she will become in prison? I don't believe so, but just the ramification and the fallout from this, just go ahead and get yourself a preemptive pardon and call it a day, because Liz Cheney has denied the allegations, accusing the panel of fabricating lies to cover up for former President Donald Trump's actions related to the Capitol riot. She stated their allegations do not reflect a review of the actual evidence and are a malicious and cowardly assault on the truth. Since mid-November, residents along the U.S. East Coast, mostly in New Jersey and New York, have reported numerous mysterious drone sightings. These incidents have sparked public concern and a flurry of conspiracy theories, prompting calls for government transparency. President-elect Donald Trump has been vocal about the issue, urging the Biden administration to disclose information about the drones or take decisive action in a social media post. Trump stated either the Biden administration reveals who is behind these drones or we will take them down ourselves. And that is what President-elect Donald Trump is alluding to, that we're going to just take them out and we're going to investigate this for ourselves. But Biden's response, in one of his first public comments on the matter, Joe Biden sought to alleviate the fear, stating that the drones pose no sense of danger. He explains that investigations are ongoing, but so far nothing nefarious has been found. Biden suggests that many sightings could be attributed to authorized commercial and hobbyist drones, law enforcement activities, or misidentifications of manned aircraft and the celestial objects. Now, federal agencies, including the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, have received over 5,000 tips regarding the drone sightings, with approximately 100 cases warranting further investigations. Despite the extensive reports, authorities have not identified any foreign involvement or threats to national security. The FBI has deployed drone detecting devices in response to the ongoing concerns. U.S. Congressman Michael McCaul, chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, suggests that the recent drone swarms observed over military sites may be Chinese spy drones. These SUV-sized drones have raised national security concerns, though officials' explanations remain limited. Now, if I'm a hobbyist, if I'm a person who just has a drone that is the size of an SUV, I mean, those things are thousands of dollars. I'm thinking the size of an SUV. I want you guys to think about an Explorer, Ford Explorer. I want you guys to think about a Yukon Denali. I want you guys to think about mid to large size SUVs, maybe a Kia Sorento, something on those lines. But think about the size of an SUV, even a mid-sized SUV. That's very large for a person to have a drone. I know there's some companies out there who are hobbyists, and they fund these drone programs where they're using for all sorts of things. If that's the case, then that information need to be revealed, because at the end of the day, it's about the safety of the residents in New Jersey, New York, and I believe some parts of California. But it will put the public, at ease. Say, okay, well, these are people just flying their drones at night and they're just having fun, or whatever the case may be, because a lot of these drone sightings are at night. And these drones are very, very large. Like I said, I have like a mini drone. You can just put it in your hand like this. These drones are the size of SUVs. So yeah, I believe if the public's concerned, the public needs to get answers, because again, some people may not find this as a big deal, but there's enough people and there's enough outcry for, officials to look inside of this to put the public at ease. Again, tax dollars are at the disposal of the government and they should use it appropriately for the safety of the people. I do support that. Congress has agreed to a 3-month funding extension, averting a government shutdown before the upcoming elections. House Speaker Mike Johnson announced the deal, which faced opposition from former President Donald Trump, who advocated for liking funding to stricter voting laws. The measure was ultimately rejected with concerns that the shutdown could harm Republican election prospects. And I do believe that this is the right thing to do in these regards. And I know that they defied Trump on this, and that's okay because, again, as I told you, it's okay if you disagree with people and you're looking for the betterment of America. Some people may or may not have personal agendas, or they may have great ideas of why the government should be shut down. But don't forget, when the government shut down, people are not getting paid who work for the government. And some of you guys have family members who work for the government. Some of you guys who are on contract that work for the government. A lot of people are tied to the federal government more so than they would like to believe. So again, shutting down the government during this time is probably not the best idea. And again, when Donald Trump and the Trump administration comes into office, there's a lot of things they can do. But I think when it comes to the safety and security of America, the government shutdown is not a good look. And I believe they made the right choice when it comes to this altogether. The Federal Reserve is expected to implement another interest rate cut at its last meeting of the year, aiming to balance economic growth with inflation control. Market projections anticipate no more than 2 additional cuts next year, with long-term neutral rates expected to exceed 3%. This decision comes amidst prevailing growth in the U.S. service sectors and high stock market. So hopefully, inflation continues to drop and the Feds continue to cut the rates, because I know you guys been noticing, either being your adjacent cities and towns and suburbs, or even some places with, close in proximity to your city centers, of all these rental properties popping up. And then again, this is just another way that the rich is getting richer, because you won't be having the ability to buy, you will have to rent. So you're not building equity. So you can't take equity out of your home and build that business you were going to build. Because don't forget, the first business that you could ever get involved with is buying a home, because you're buying from yourself essentially by the way of the bank, or there's other ways that you can get into, life value cash systems where you can essentially, again, borrow from yourself again. But your home is primarily one of your first investments that you can borrow from and use that equity to build your own personal business. So again, I believe this is a good thing, and the economy seems as though it's going to turn around favorably. And believe me, this is good. NATO has taken over the coordination of military aid to Kiev, signaling a unified commitment to supporting Ukraine amidst ongoing tensions. This strategic move aims to streamline assistance and bolster Ukraine's defense capabilities. So that means that, and again, this is my conjecture on this one, that NATO will eventually accept Ukraine into NATO. They will be a NATO-listed country. And so they have the protection, funding, and aid of NATO. And I think the reason why they've come to this will either be military strategic positioning, meaning they don't want Russia to come far west into Europe, or, get even closer to Belarus and other neighboring countries. Again, strategic ploy, because as Donald Trump is coming to office, there's been a lot of rhetoric, there's been a lot of rumors stating that the American government will no longer fund Ukraine in this war against Russia. So NATO steps in and say, well, we'll help out now. All of a sudden, you have all these other nations willing to help Ukraine after America has given them hundreds of billions of dollars. Where were you guys when Ukraine needed you the most? And this is not hate against Ukraine for Americans. No, is it that we've been spending hundreds of billions of dollars to a war that a lot of Americans are not apprised of. We're not really informed about the strategic value of that war, let alone why is this war happening in the first place. So it's great that other countries are coming to the aid of Ukraine, and that way America can take a back seat. Like when you guys get to $100 billion in support, let us know, because that's probably where America is altogether. Recent discussions have surfaced regarding potential economic stimulus measures. However, it's important to note that as of now, there are no new stimulus packages approved by Congress. Misinformation has been circulating, and it's crucial to rely on official sources. And a lot of people have been stating that, because the reason why a lot of people have voted for Donald Trump is because they believe he's going to do another stimulus package because of inflation, rising cost of gas and groceries, etc. No, these are all rumors as of yet, and I wouldn't bank on another stimulus package. I think he would definitely catalyze the economy to move a lot quicker, so he won't have to pump out your own tax dollars back to yourself. Okay, we want to keep the money where it needs to go, because don't forget, they're also rumoring around totally abolishing the IRS. I gave my stint on that yesterday, but nonetheless, don't look for another stimulus package just because Donald Trump is in office. So work hard, keep your head down. No, I'm just kidding. But no, these are rumors that are coming out that they are not, at any sense of the word, verified that this is actually going to occur. So I would definitely pass on this rhetoric. I would definitely pass on this rumor until more verifiable sources come out and state that there will be a 1,000 stimulus payment that every resident of the United States will receive, not including illegal immigrants, by the way. China's economy, once characterized by rapid growth, is experiencing a significant slowdown. This deceleration is influencing the ongoing trade tensions between China and the U.S., prompting a re-evaluation of strategies on both sides. And a lot of the key factors that's involved with this, China's export growth has slowed sharply, with November 2024 figures showing a 6.7 increase, down from a 12.7 in October, indicating weakening global demand and the impact of exiting tariffs. And that is the big story. These tariffs are scaring everyone that Donald Trump is talking about, and it's actually hurting China. So essentially, is America winning the trade war, or America is just kind of teetering, or is America losing a trade war? Because imports have unexpectedly shrunk by 3.9%, reflecting subdued domestic demand and potentially supply chain disruptions. In response, China's leaders plan to increase the budget deficit to 4% of the GDP in 25, the highest on record, aiming to counter the anticipated impact of incoming U.S. tariffs under the Trump administration. China's economic vulnerabilities may reduce its leverage in trade negotiations, potentially leading to concessions or a reevaluation of its trade policies. Oh yeah, they're going to definitely reevaluate their trade policies, because China does not want to lose the business of America. We are the largest consumers in the entire world. So if you totally ex-nay America, we will go to countries like India, as we're already in, Taiwan, as we're already in, Singapore, as we're already in. We would just increase our demand from them, and they're willing to do business with us. Just the other day, a mogul CEO from Softgel from Japan just invested $100 billion inside of America. And Donald Trump made him lean towards investing $200 billion. So again, not saying that we don't need China, because let's just be very transparent, clear, and concise. Unless these other countries have the infrastructures of China, the manufacturing, the distribution, the people in place, the know-how, the knowledge, then it may be a long time before we can really depend on other countries the same way we have China for a very long time. American companies anticipating those further tariffs are diversifying their supply chains away from China to countries like Vietnam and Mexico, impacted China's manufacturing sector. And I thought about this, I love to connect the dots. So we have a mass influx of illegal immigrants inside the country, roughly over 11 million. They come from all over Mexico, as well as Central America, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Africa, China, India, etc. If we're going to start doing more business with Mexico, this could help slow and decrease the amount of illegal immigrants that are coming through Mexico into America from all over the world. Because if you stop in Mexico and they have these manufacturing business, they have all these new distribution business that America has infused, because we have decreased the amount of business we want to do with China, then they will have more jobs in Mexico. They have more jobs in Central America, let alone the reduction of jobs in China. So guess what? We're going to start to employ more people around the world, except for one country. And I believe that's a good thing. China's slowdown could have ripple effects on the global economy, affecting commodity prices, investment flows, and economic growth in other countries. So that's something to look out for as well, okay? Because again, China's exports slow. And there's a lot of things, the amount of volume of products that are coming through the ports have declined roughly around 4% as stated before. Now, this particular story hit my desk late. A Tennessee woman named Emily Arnold has been one of the biggest drug dealers in Tennessee. We got to get rid of these drug dealers. They come in all shades, colors, and genders. A Tennessee woman has been charged with selling counterfeit weight loss drugs, deceiving customers seeking effective treatments. The counterfeit drugs were marketed as legitimate weight loss solutions, but lacked the approved active ingredients, rendering them ineffective and potentially harmful. So she's selling harmful drugs to her community. See, and I always tell people about the face of a drug dealer. There's really no face, there's really no sex, because there's all sorts of people who are peddling and selling fentanyl, who are peddling and selling opioids, who are peddling and selling, would it be crack cocaine, heroin, etc. We just put a label and a mask on a certain demographic of people, black folk, and we looked at in a very dim light. But the opioid pandemic came essentially out of pharmaceuticals and doctors and nurses and drug peddlers, mostly from a white demographic. And now we have someone who's selling these very harmful, non-active ingredient weight loss drugs. So again, I tell people, everybody sells drugs. How you think the fentanyl came over here? By the way of China. So again, when you look at the different demographics around the world, let alone America, everybody sells drugs. They just sell different types of drugs. But if it harms the public and it's illegal, then it's all wrong. It doesn't matter how it infuses the environment and or the neighborhood, because consumers reported adverse effects, including nausea, headaches, and elevated heart rates, which could lead to heart attacks and heart palpitations after using these fake medications. The women sold these counterfeit drugs online at prices comparable to genuine products ranging from $50 to $100 per bottle, further misleading buyers about the authenticity of these particular drugs. So I want you guys to hear this particular news report very quickly. Bear with me, but I definitely think that you guys want to listen in to get more detail about this case.
Is used to taking down hardened criminals, but this is a first.
Police department, search warrant.
Today's target, a single mom believed to be selling black market weight loss drugs. What investigators say they find inside is shocking. 330 vials labeled semaglutide and tirzepatide, as well as several drugs yet to be approved by the FDA. John Carter is the director of the task force. She's mixing them.
She should have been featured on a show, BMF or Raising Kanan or the Power series.
Here?
Yes.
How is she doing that?
She's getting them in a powder base, and then she's making them into a liquid base, and then selling them.
NBC News was granted exclusive access to the raid, the culmination of a 2-month-long criminal investigation sparked by public complaints that 41-year-old Emily Arnold was selling suspiciously cheap weight loss drugs online.
Have you been selling counterfeit weight loss drugs?
What's your address?
Anything you'd like to say?
Drugs that cost $1,000 were listed for less than $200.
We've made several undercover buys. She mixed it all for us into syringe.
Now, everybody knows when it comes to these weight loss drugs, Ozempic and others, everybody's flocking to buy these drugs because, and I don't want to lose none of you guys, let's just be real. It's a lack of discipline. Now, for those with medical complications, medical issues, thyroid issues, I understand. That's out of your control. But for most of us, even myself, struggling with weight loss is struggling with discipline, with the lack of discipline, right? Eating small proportion meals, working out, eating things that are low in carbs. And everybody's made up different. You have all these different body types and blood types people try to do. But the tell of the tape is this: eat less, work out more, eat less, move more. And that always been the thing. There's no magic in these drugs because the side effects of a lot of these drugs, you really want to do your research on. There's a lot of people, even with the official drugs, they have a lot of side effects that you guys may want to be aware of before taking these magic pills to lose weight. My magic pill is going to the gym and trying to eat less, and sometimes I fail and sometimes I succeed, but nonetheless, the battle still continues.
We sent those off for testing. They tested for nothing on the first one.
So she was selling nothing?
Nothing. $185 worth of nothing. The second one, however, does appear to be legitimate.
It was a good counterfeit.
A good counterfeit, yeah.
Arnold has been charged with 4 felonies and a misdemeanor, including impersonating a licensed professional. Her attorney tells NBC News she will plead not guilty. Investigators allege Arnold's illicit business went beyond this one house and that the vials she was mixing herself were also being sold to unsuspecting patients elsewhere.
Investigators just served a warrant to this wellness clinic. They're alleging it's one of Emily Arnold's many customers here in Tennessee and possibly beyond.
Investigators say they traced over 350 vials found at 2 wellness clinics back to Arnold. The owner of those clinics, who hasn't been charged, told them she believed Arnold was selling legitimate drugs.
Are you going to notify your patients now that you know?
Absolutely.
According to investigators, the clinic's owner said they would buy from Arnold when their supply ran out.
Their patients had no idea that they were being given black market drugs.
They had no idea.
That's shocking.
If I'm a customer or a client, I'm going to be angry.
If you're a weight loss patient, how do you have confidence in what you're injecting?
You don't.
Experts point to a growing and potentially harmful wave of black market weight loss drugs, driven by high prices and a nationwide obesity epidemic. The question, just how many illicit operations are out there? Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News.
Well, when they say an epidemic, I think that's a far stretch and a far cry. Again, let's just be real with oneself, because I'm real with myself. I'm a big guy and I'm still trying to lose weight myself. I'm really trying to cut 40 to 50 pounds. Okay. A lot of it is muscle, but nonetheless, I still have a great content of fat. And I just like to be real with myself. I like to be brutally honest. Some people get very sympathetic and emotional about their current state. Go out. Hey, if you are real heavy and working out tires you out, start off with a small walk and then, go from there. Start off with a small jog. Again, we have all of these tools at our disposal, but at the end of the day, when it comes to losing weight, it takes 2 things. It takes discipline and the execution on that discipline. And you just have to be consistent, okay? But yeah, they had a whole list. She had a whole lab of different syringes. She had a whole lab of how to make these sort of pills. Supposedly some of the materials came over for China, as I was skimming the story. And a lot of the well patients here are some of the prices that they were charging per milligram, like 10 milligrams. And I don't know how to say some of these pharmaceutical names, but 140 per milligram. Triazepam, 15 milligrams, $105. So again, she was making buku money. She was one of the large drug dealers in the area. And she had counterfeit paperwork stating that she was a licensed dealer, and all of that was fabricated allegedly as well. As she stated, she said that, she's pleading not guilty, but again, they have enough evidence to prosecute her and put up on charges. So we'll find out more information as that story continues. Thank you guys for joining me here this morning. You guys have a great and wonderful day. This is Blacklogic.